Hello, everyone. I am Mark, and this channel is about D&D. At least I think it will be in the main. We'll see. And I live in New Zealand, and that's why it is called NZD&D. Easy to remember, if nothing else. Anyway, I'm going to have a go at taking you through a little combat, and I'm going to introduce you to the protagonist of this series of adventures. Her name is Kalthira. She's a divine soul sorcerer mixed in with a bit of warlock, which makes her, I guess, an Eldritch Blast cannon. Anyway, by now she's level 20. She lives in her own castle, Castle Lethe, and as you will find out, she is looking for novel ways to entertain herself. What else do you do when you're level 20? I guess I could share my screen and we'll find out a little bit about this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's possible that there's someone out there watching. There will be one day. We can take our time about this. An audience of 0 is okay. I can watch it myself. I quite like watching myself, really. Anyway, I'm sure you can see my screen now. You can see that I've played a lot of D&D on Roll20, coming up to 8,350 hours, mainly as a DM. I've run a lot of different games. I started in 2018 when I was living in Spain, and I wanted to have a little bit of English conversation. I'd only really just started playing D&D. For a long time, I've been a player of a simpler rule system called Tunnels and Trolls, designed by Ken St. Andre, and it's fast-moving and fun. I was very anti D&D. I thought it was for lawyers and for yawning. But when I came across 5e, I could see that it had shifted a lot more in the Tunnels and Trolls direction, which I was very happy about. And I particularly liked the early part of the player's handbook, which said rules are rules, but DM fiat overrules everything. I think that's the way it should be, providing you're the sort of DM who's there to make a good time for your players. If your players have a good time, you probably have a good time yourself. Let's see, where do I want to go to? Well, not Jekyll and Hyde. That is a game I'm playing with people in New Zealand at the moment. I think it's about level 4 at the moment. The players kind of have a split role. They are vampires at night and Victorian characters in the daytime. They turn into the vampires and really they're hunting themselves, or at least they will be as we go on. It's set in 1888, and so we can throw in people like Jack the Ripper. It's quite a lot of fun, although they're in Paris at the moment battling Victor Hugo, of all people. That other game, Pay Dirt Convergence, Pay Dirt. It started out as a gritty Wild West setting, and then it shifted rapidly into the Feywild, and then into one of the layers of the one of the 9 hells. And then the whole world got shifted around. And after dealing with Romans and Aztecs, we seem to have settled into a world where sci-fi creatures come through portals. The planet is dominated by Daleks and Cybermen, but Star Wars troopers have been coming in lately. Well, I'm still telling you about things I'm not playing in. Well, this is a game I hope to play in. Tesoro de la Reina Dragon para Novatos Mesa de Pago. Like I say, I lived in Spain for 7 months in 2018, and I'm going to try playing my first ever game in Spanish. I shall probably be embarrassing to myself, but I guess with Google Translate and a page of tips so I can remember what dexterity is in Spanish, I might get by. I think I'm going to have my character not be a wizard as I normally would play, but someone very taciturn. I can grunt like a barbarian in Spanish. What else I've been watching recently? Oh, today, really like Treant Monk. I think he is very, very sound, good person all around. I've just been watching his video about the 24 Players Handbook take on Druids and Wild Shape. You know, I don't make many characters myself, but I have lots of players in my games. And although I really leave players to run the players' stuff, I do remember things, and it's nice to see what direction they're taking with the 24 handbook. Look, I'm not super excited about it, but I think there's a lot of improvements. You know, it's a really good system, I think, providing you don't get stuck and unprepared to change things. I'm like, if you're the sort of person who gets bogged down with the fact that the CR system isn't good enough to cope with all our imaginations, you're not going to enjoy it. But I think that is not a thing to worry about. Anyhow, what else was I watching? Oh, yeah, this video on Chile. I'd like to go to South Africa, not South Africa. I have no real desire to go to South Africa. I think I want to go to South America next year, and I'm not sure what country to go to. I was keen on Mexico, but I think in places like Oaxaca, they're becoming less keen on tourists. And I think maybe it's becoming a little bit saturated with economy refugee Americans. I really like the idea of Chile, but I've heard that there's a big social divide there between the rich and the poor. Although, you know, I know you could say to me, where isn't there? Pretty keen on Peru at the moment. I've never heard of this city. It's the second biggest one, 1 million inhabitants, Arequipa, south of Lima, the capital. It's got a wonderfully temperate climate. In Fahrenheit terms, it seems to be like in the low to mid 70s all the year round. Anyway, you don't really want to see much about Chile, do you? So let's go to Roll20. And the game I'm doing this on is called It Didn't Start in a Tavern, But. I don't think that's got a lot of relevance to us. But, you know, I think Roll20 is a pretty decent platform for running D&D, although I do still like running games around a table in a pub. You know, for most things, I think playing on an online platform is just a lot better because you can flick up rules so quickly and you can share them with everyone. It takes a lot of the load off the dice rolling. You know, I watch quite a few D&D videos, and I think so many of them sort of comment, they talk as though everyone is still playing on paper, and I just don't think it's true. I would kind of think the majority of these days, people do play online using platforms. Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked it up. Maybe it's not true. Anyway, let's launch the game and see what screen we get on Roll20. I like Roll20 because they're always improving things. Can be a bit annoying and it does glitch, but I think I've had very good value out of it. So I think our opening screen, unless I'm going to embarrass myself, is going to take us. Oh, I'm going to embarrass myself because look, I've got an initiative count up. So you can see that there's a battle coming up. But this screen, well, I can see something lurking at the bottom by my name, Mark, but we'll forget about that. And let's leave this bridge and go to folder I created for this called Kalthira, and that's where we'll find what I actually want. Because now, I'll get rid of the turn order, we can see Kalthira. I played her for a long time in a game run by a young tech student who I think was living in Edinburgh at the time. And I think she may have got her way to level 14. It was a roller coaster ride. And I kind of never forgot her. I like images. I mean, I think if I find a decent image, this is what I need to be able to either play a character or talk as an NPC. If I look at the image, I get there. Let's scroll out and see her castle. I'm calling it Castle Lethe. I think, if memory serves, that Lethe was a river in Greek mythology, and maybe it had something to do with amnesia, losing your memory. I think that those who are unfortunate enough to be brought here by Kalthira when she's not in a friendly mood, I think they forget the things that would ever let them get away again. Like I said, she's a divine soul sorcerer. Like I said, well, I think I put it in the channel description. Yeah, divine soul sorcerer with a dip into warlock. And I think in the game it was just simply because I wanted to quicken Eldritch Blast and be able to just let rip with multiple Eldritch Blasts. I played a Ranger. I like the idea of Rangers, but, you know, I quickly get bored with Rangers. Gloomstalkers are good, but it just doesn't really like the blue touch paper. I think that's true for a lot of people. Anyway, so I replaced my Ranger in Cameron's game with Kalthira, and I enjoyed Kalthira very, very much. That bird mask on her head is very suitable for today. And I think the way that she's just lifting her chin up, resting her chin on her fingers and looking upwards, I think you can imagine that whatever is going on behind her eyes, it's not going to be good for someone. So she doesn't have television. What does she do these days to while away the small hours? She invites fledgling adventurers to lead groups of creatures from one place to another. I guess it's like being a caravan master, really. The only thing is, she tends to put them into an environment which is going to lead to conflict because both parties will not be able to succeed. I say both parties. She sets up one person, puts them on their way, and then she sets up another person. So today, what we're going to look at this person. What's his name? Let's look at him first. If I'm going to do this on Roll20, it takes quite a long time. It will suddenly blow up. I shouldn't have done it. I should have remembered. Anyway, his name is Weseer. What does the we suggest? That he's got a dual personality? I think the seer suggests that he looks into the future. When we find, oh, I got rid of it. Damn. Let's try again. Yeah, there we go. I think when I first came up with him, I wanted a Pied Piper of Hamelin image that I just found, as we do on Google Images, because I wanted a party of first level characters to go up against some rats. Now, the reason for that was because I'd just been watching Espar the Bard on YouTube, and I really like the simple thing he does with combat videos. They're quick, they're instructive, they're fun. I think he does his voices well. Anyway, I want to give him a big piece of credit here. It's not exactly stealing his idea, because I've always liked running combats from my Tunnels and Trolls days. One of Ken St. Andrew's great solos, the Arena of Kazan, was all about combat and nothing else. The rules light system, you could look it up. It's worth your while. It's fun. It's zany. Ken's a good guy. Anyway, I didn't really want to get rid of Weseer just yet. What do you reckon he is? Well, he's a druid and he's level 1. Kalthira is asking him to lead a party of owl bears through a forest, over a bridge, to get them to another castle on the other side of the river. And the problem that's going to come for Weseer is that he's going to meet someone else trying to get across the bridge at the same time. And that reminds me of Robin Hood and Little John. I'm sure there's a story about Robin Hood and Little John fighting when one wouldn't give way to the other getting across a river. Let's have a quick look at Weseer's card. Level 1, he must be in there. Yes, he is. I was very neat. I organized my folder. So he's a druid, and he's got the Thorn Whip cantrip, and that's got a range of 30 feet, and it's an attack cantrip. I suppose it's probably roll to hit, and make a melee spell attack. Okay. 1d6 piercing damage. If the creature is large or smaller, you pull the creature up to 10 foot closer to you. Well, I think he'd want to pull them to his owl bears. It comes to that. He's also got the Mold Earth cantrip, which I think has got a lot of utility. You choose a portion of dirt or stone that you can see within range and that fits within a 5-foot cube. You manipulate it in one of the following ways. If you target an area of loose earth, you can instantly excavate it, move it along the ground, and deposit it up to 5 feet away. This movement doesn't involve enough force to cause damage. You cause shapes, colors, or both to appear on the dirt or stone, spelling out words, creating images, or shaping patterns. Changes last for 1 hour. If the dirt or stone you target is on the ground, you cause it to become difficult terrain. Alternatively, you can cause the ground to become normal terrain if it is already difficult terrain. I don't think I'll bother reading the stuff about casting multiple talents. It's not a combat spell. I think it might give him a little bit of protection. That's what I'm thinking there. I didn't make Weseer for combat. I made him as an NPC who was going to bring some rats into combat. And then you can see his level 1 spells, Speak with Animals, Animal Friendship, and Beast Bond were all about that. I think the first two are fair enough, but let's just check what Beast Bond does. Divination. One beast you touch that is friendly to you or charmed by you. Okay, what happens then? Telepathic link. The spell fails if the beast's intelligence score is 4 or higher. I wonder about those owlbears. I wonder if they've got an intelligence of 4 or higher. The owlbear I used, I wanted a CR6 monster. I just decided that's what I'd have. So I went for the Iron Feather owlbear. But apart from the beak and claw standard melee attacks, it's got a wing cleave that recharges and an iron feather spray once a day with a DC 17 dexterity save. But anyway, I was here for the intelligence. Okay, the owlbear's intelligence is just 3. Okay, that sounds reasonable. So I suppose Beast Bond, which is concentration up to 10 minutes, might be worthwhile for Weseer to be able to get the owlbears to act the way he wants. Wonder if it's worth looking at anything else on Weseer's card. He's only got a spell DC of 15 and a spell attack bonus of 4. That would be the Thorn Whip. I didn't put anything in the bio because I just about never do, because I'm more interested in what he looks like and, knowing him as a person. I mean, I know most people, when I see them, I remember who they are. I don't have to read about them. Oh, he's got the mobile feet, so you can move 10 feet faster than normal, I guess. Yeah, 40 feet. And what else does it do? I think it just means that he's not going to give away opportunity attacks. When you make a melee attack, you don't provide. Yeah, that's right. Ritual casting, druidic. Well, I don't think anything else is going to come in handy there. He is a 2014 character. He is not. He's not been updated for the 24 rules. So Weseer is one of our cast who you will see. And although he is not going to meet this other person, why not? I'll just send him to the GM layer. Not that it would really matter. Change layer. GM layer. Okay. He is going to be up against a paladin called Eowyn. Sounds a bit Lord of the Rings. Maybe she comes from Rohan. Anyway, let me see if I can blow her up. Will it happen quicker? Wi-Fi is good in New Zealand. I live out in the country, but generally it's good. But this is just something that takes time. I roll 20 so often. I've normally moved on with the game and then it just pops up. I guess if I scroll up, we can probably find her to look at anyway. I think it really does help me at any rate. If I can see the person. She will pop up soon. Blonde hair, well-armored, paladin, like I say. Level 1 paladin, what does that mean? She's got, well, she'll have an armor class that's going to beat Weseer's, that's for sure. And she'll have more hit points. Yeah, she's got 12 hit points. That's not going to be much more than Weseer. Armor class of 18. She can probably afford to tangle with things a little bit. Lay on hands. That's what she's got. And divine sense, presence of evil. Well, as it turns out, she's bringing along something that might well count as evil. So her divine sense is probably going off like an alarm clock too early in the morning when you've got to get up and go to work and you want to stay in bed because you had a late night the night before. She's got no spells. She's not any bio. Longsword, yeah, she's armed with a longsword. She'll have a shield as well. She's got javelins. Armor class 18. Well, she's up against these owlbears, and the owlbears, I think these ones, the iron feather ones, look, +9 to hit. Roll a 10, hits armor class 18. I don't know whether Aowen is going to be Aowen is going to be smart enough to not attack. It's a bit of a dump stat for paladins, isn't it? Intelligence, yeah, -1, 9, but she's not silly. All right, she's a standard human. Oh yeah, so she just got 1 point to everything, didn't she? Whereas we see her as a variant human. Still hasn't blown up on roll 20, but you can see. Oh no, there we go. What blue eyes? What's going rather like that image? I wonder where it came from. It says it's by Yu Hong Ding. Well, thank you, Yu Hong Ding. I appreciate having this image because, as I say, I would much rather just look at Yu Hong Ding's image and know who Aowan is rather than read something or write something. I like the way she's gripping the sword. She looks as though she's making a defiant stand. I think I've already decided from looking at Aowan that she is not going to run. If she goes down, that is what she will choose to do. If I remember Weeseer, I think that he is not made of the same stuff. Well, what? Oh, I didn't actually show you these owlbears, did I? Let's see if roll 20 will blow this up for me quickly. I'm going to try again just by pressing Z. You see it? Oh, yeah, quick. Well, that's not much bigger, is it? I found this little image of an owlbear. I wanted a non-standard one because they're iron feather. It's not that that image really speaks of being iron. I suppose iron, ferrous oxide, rust, red. Yeah, okay, iron feather. They're red. That fits, doesn't it? And then as for Aowan, what Kalthira, let's go back and look at Kalthira again, shall we? What do you think Kalthira gave Aowan to bring to a castle, through a forest, across a river? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, so what I chose for her is animated armor from Curse of Strahd. So the image I found is this. I think it was in a subscription set I got from Roll20. I don't think this is one that I searched for. Okay, I'll make it. Oh no, there we go. Animated armor. Is that Stradish? Well, I really like the image. Certainly no bones, no skeleton. Gosh, it almost looks as though Strahd's face. I think the idea was that Strahd himself actually wore this armor. However, Kalthira somehow got hold of replicas. So we see her as escorting 4 owlbears. And I think all his speak with animals, everything like that, is going to help him do that job. No, okay, I didn't mean to open up Weeseer's card. I meant to go for the owlbear because I guess they don't actually count as beasts. Large monstrosity, but I think very often in the game, I'd ignore the fact they're monstrosities and treat them as beasts. Because when you're dealing with someone like a druid who's got all these speak with animal beast spawn spells, it kind of makes it cooler, doesn't it? A rule of cool wins out. Not every time, but I would say about 75% of the time. That's a good ratio, a rule of thumb. If you always let the players do what they want to do, I think that doesn't make for a long-term fun campaign. But if you're saying no more than half the time, that doesn't either. I've been on the receiving end of that, and I know what I prefer. So let's have a quick look at the owlbears again, so you get an idea of what they're going to be able to do. 104 hit points, 17 armor class, speed 40. Maybe the speed 40 will come in useful, I don't think. Dark vision or passive perception is they're large, by the way, they're large. The animated armor, which we haven't really looked at, more hit points, but not much, 112. 21 armor class, 4 extra armor class, that's pretty good. Speed 30, yeah. They also get a ranged attack, shocking bolt, 3d6 lightning damage with a +4 to hit. Well, against the owlbears armor class, what was it? 17. Well, I think they're going to be missing most of the time. Anti-magic susceptibility is not going to come into it. False appearance is not going to come into it. They make two melee attack or use shocking bolt twice. Well, if it had said or shocking bolt, I would have made it twice because that would have been a bit useless. Otherwise, they've got lots of conditioned immunities, damage immunities to lightning and poison. Well, that won't affect the owlbears. Damage resistance, cold and fire. Okay, I think we're good on that. So I don't know that my friend AO1 is particularly thrilled about having to escort animated armor that is based on something Strahd once wore. I can only assume that Kalthira persuaded her that this was the only way to get this stuff destroyed. And maybe rather than take, well, if she is taking it to a castle, I would say that she's been told that there's a blacksmith there with a furnace who is going to melt it down and put an end to its evil. I guess it's a little bit like Frodo dumping a ring in Mount Doom, but there are only so many stories. And if you get on with it, no one notices most of the time. Anyhow, that is what we've got set up. I will get rid of I just put them all on the GM layer. Do it in two goes because I don't want to send Kalthira there. I'm being a bit fussy, I know. I mean, maybe I don't need to do this, but there we go. We just flick around, change layer, GM layer. You can see as DM, you can still see them quite easily. And I'm going to pause there because that is my introduction. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back and watch the combat happen. Now, I hadn't had an intention of doing this in two parts, but it seems quite clever. Now, I think this is silly because I know I'm talking only to myself, but Mark, please give a sub to the channel and a like. It will really help the algorithm. Yeah, no, if I watch something and I like it, I do. Did I do it to, well, I'm subscribed to Treant Monk and I only watched this today. Did I give it a like? I was watching it on my phone. Haven't quite watched all of it. Shush, shush, shush. Yeah, I'll give it that like now. And this one, subscribed, and I'll give that a like as well. I try to remember to do that. And I guess if I do the right thing by other people, then maybe other people will do the right thing by me. So that's it for now. I will say goodbye to you. And I know, again, I'm saying goodbye, Mark. And I want to say, Mark, I'm really looking forward to the combat. Well done to Kalthira for setting this up. And who's going to triumph? AO1 trying to get the evil animated armor destroyed, or Weseer trying to deliver owlbears to a better, safer, natural habitat. On we go. A luego.